involving chat. Yeah, we started involving chat in there. They start going crazy. Talking Origin today. Yep.
And we're live.
Might switch keyboards just to be on the safe side.
This is Rowena Dooley asking Sol citizens to report for duty. Rowena Dooley asking Sol citizens to report for duty.
It's been a big couple of years for the quote-unquote sexiest shipmaker in the verse. Even as seemingly every ship manufacturer and their mum tries dipping their respective toes in the hot tub of luxury, Origin Jumpworks is not to be outdone and maybe more accessible than ever, heading into 2950. I know, you're going to say, but Jax, I'm just not an Origin person. And are there plenty of complaints? Of course. But take the 600i. It's a totally viable exploration ship, but with so much to explore on the inside, you might never make it out of the bar. And speaking of loaded, the new 300 series can be tricked out with more bells, whistles and trim options than a Banu marketplace after everyone's eaten their nutrient bars. But before you write it off as more posh posturing for well-to-do shipophiles, I for one appreciate a little variety. After all, when you're stuck in Area 18 traffic, there's only so much silver and white you can look at without going a bit mad. And although it may be easy to poke fun at Origin, I can't deny that the ships are fun as hell to fly. And even if you aren't flying an Origin ship, simply being on one is an experience all of its own. IAE attendees can finally experience, if even for a moment, what it's like to be super mega buy a planet and never go there rich. And take it from me, it's pretty great. Jimmy! Champagne!
Greetings, and welcome to the Soul Citizens. Hi, I'm GriffinGamingRPG, and yeah, welcome back. It's Sunday, September 25th, and we are back to continue our series on Shipyard, covering Origin Jumpworks today, and I'm joined by a couple of my wonderful friends here at Soul Citizens. Directly next to me is the man himself, Fastcart FC. How are you?
I'm doing well. You can see I'm prepared for today. I'm wearing my chairman shirt, and I'd like to propose. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Dr. Dog.
Thank you.
I would like to propose a drinking game for every time you say luxury. The chat, the viewers have to take a drink.
Okay. He said it, you all, not me. So I
He
just want
did.
you all to know that. I just
He
want you to
did.
know that. I want you to know that. And then next to our good friend Fastcart is Dark Knight 75. How are you, DK?
I'm doing great. Oh, thank you
Good,
for that
good.
sub
Hey,
gift,
in
Pops.
space, thank you.
Awesome.
Rekazak
I'm doing good.
and Pops, you guys are kicking us off. Thank you.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this show.
You're ready?
I've got my Origin mug.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know what? Cheers. Let's say, hey, cheers. That's all I got to say.
Cheers.
All right, cheers to that. All right.
Cheers. There you go.
I'm smack in between an Origin
Yep,
Origin
we
love
got an Origin
sandwich.
sandwich.
sure
That's
are.
exactly what you got.
You sure are.
Exactly what First of all, you have a brand new background behind you, which technically
Yes,
should
I
not
do.
even
But
be
no, I
up.
got a merchantman background. That's my luxury chef.
This isn't about luxury. We had the luxury show. This is about the origins today.
We'll
Thank
see
you,
about that.
DK. Thank you so much for the sub. We appreciate
I'm
that.
at 2 years, y'all.
Yeah,
Woo.
thank you. Oh yeah,
Wow,
2
2
years.
years.
Oh,
Great.
awesome, great.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, listen. Hey, thank you. Oh wow, BBG.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank
500
you
bits.
for those
Thank you.
bits.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, today we are in our series in Shipyard, and we're cutting through these ships, man. One by is there any, what else do we have after this? We still got a couple more manufacturers to do. We've got
I think
Tumbrel,
like three
so.
or four.
because we've been
Yeah.
going alphabetically. So we've got Tumbrel
Mhm.
still, we've got RSI still.
RSI.
Other side.
QILP, QRST.
We haven't done any Xeon. No, we don't have.
No, well,
Now VW.
no, we did
We
the
did a
alien one.
spirit.
We did the
Okay,
alien
we
one.
did the
Yeah.
Alien Week.
Yeah,
That's right.
what
We did
did.
all aliens.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
that's only a couple more to go. So we've been chopping through the Shipyard more and more. And as you guys know, this is where we go and talk to you guys about the history and the lore behind the ship manufacturers. Then we go through the ships that are in the game in their current state and then things that we know about them. And this is a show we're going to plan to have a lot of fun with today. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the topic with us. Give some shout outs to some people who are here today. Therum is here, Shimpasta's here, Pops Threkazog, Fist of Face, Zaylen, Robert Foles. Haven't seen Robert in a bit. Hey Robert. Good to see
Hey,
you.
Robert.
J2 is back again. Let's see who else is here. Is that all I'm seeing? BBG is here. And Creator, CC. Good to see you as well. Happy to have all of you all joining us today. And hopefully you all will enjoy the subject of Origin and Origin ships. Before I get into reading the history on this, and I'm going to ask both of you guys a very candid question. What is it, I don't know how to say this. Maybe it's just me being overly sensitive, but it seems like people have a thing against Origin. And sometimes it's like, man, I mean, we tease about certain manufacturers, right? Like we'll talk about, living a Drake, dying a Drake, right? Stuff like that.
Duct tape and super glue.
Duct tape and stuff like that. But they are ships that people really, really, regardless, right? Most people will talk about how great a Cuddy Black is. You know what I mean? Back in the day when moving freight around and cargo was a big deal, the Caterpillar was a popular ship that people flew around.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the deal is with Origin? Is it the fact that it has the luxury moniker? Is it the fact of the style of the ships? What is it? I'm gonna go to Fastcart first, since he's not the Origin guy. And maybe you could tell me what it is you think that is. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people in the community that like Origin. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. But what is it about it that it kind of is off-putting for a lot of people? A lot of people are like, I don't like Origin.
I think
ships.
it's the luxury moniker, and I think it's like the stereotype. I guess it's the stereotype now that luxury owners are jerks. That's all it is to it.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Origin owners are jerks.
Origin owners.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was said by Gomab.
Okay. Dark Knight, what about you? What do you think? Is there anything you think from why there's a certain feeling that people give when they talk about Origin?
When you asked that question, the first thing I thought of was the many times I hear people say it's useless. I can't do this. I can't do that. It's not for this. It's not for that. And as soon as you say something, they're like, yeah, but. And it's, I think that's part of it is that people think that they're useless. And I think that's, part of it is because not a lot of our gameplay is there yet.
Yeah.
And so people don't see a use for the ships. They don't have enough cargo or enough firepower or can't carry a rock. Hello, people. It's just, I think that's it. And I think somebody in chat said it's like hating on the person that pulls up in an Aston Martin. Yeah, it is kind of like
yeah,
that.
it's like Yeah, I mean, I'm being me when I say people original owners are jerks, but it's everyone likes to pick on the man, and origin owners typically are viewed as being the man. So,
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about what you were saying, DK, about the ships in the sense of I can't do or they don't see the functionality. And I know we've talked about this before when we've talked about the careers, right? That there's like for example, the Reclaimer's been in the game forever, right? Can't do anything with it, but we have had other games where salvage, those especially if you're an old Eve player, salvage was something that you had an idea of what it was like to be able to salvage in a game. Shipbreaker's out. There's a game that's all about salvaging, right? So people do have an idea or concept, even though we may not completely know what CIG's vision of it, we do have an idea of what salvaging is like. So is it because Fastcart mentioned the word luxury? Is it because that idea of luxury is just elusive and we really haven't seen, for lack of a better word, gameplay? You know what I mean? Is that maybe what it is? Whoever wants to answer that can jump in.
I mean, no one. There isn't there's no VIP escorts missions yet, as far as I know. Yeah. So I think when gameplay around that is introduced, maybe it'll lessen up just a bit. But until then, yeah.
Okay. I know.
DK, just turn your camera off and on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. There we go.
Yep.
Might have to reset it every time.
Yeah, no problem.
But go ahead.
And by the way, we do have another guest in here.
Yes.
Someone dropped in.
Jade's here. Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Okay, great. Hey, Jade.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Hey, another Origin fan.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Wasn't gonna miss this. I just got in really late.
Typical Origin owners.
Yep.
She arrived
Fashionably late. That's right.
Exactly. I
Right on time.
I was in Terra doing some shopping.
Yeah.
So Jade, I don't know if you heard the question that I asked Fastcart and DK, but the question was, why is the manufacturer Origin off-putting for some people? We'll joke around about Drake and have laughs about them and stuff, but there are some people that you mentioned Origin, you're like, I don't like Origin ships. And you have any idea why do you think maybe people respond to Origin that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're haters. No. I think it's just aesthetics, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
There are two ship manufacturers in the Star Citizen universe. I think people have very strong opinions about. You mentioned one of them, Drake, and Origin, and they're almost polar opposites of each other, right? Origin is sleek, it's futuristic, it's very Star Trek feeling. Drake, on the other hand, is utilitarian, nuts and bolts everywhere. And I think if you're on one of those extremes, you're not going to like the thing on the other extreme. And there's a lot of people who are really into like that just very mechanical, everything has to have a wire coming out of it feel, that don't like the sleekness of Origin. It's the same reason some people just don't like Apple products, right?
Yeah.
They're too sleek, too posh, too nice for what they prefer.
Yeah. Let me say, Thrakazog, thank you for that gift. You must have hit Thrakazog in the heart, Jade, because as soon as you said that, he gave you a gift sub, just so you'll know. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
But more to Jade's point, I think the factor between grungy and clean, like Origin, especially the 600i, people think it's too clean. Like you said, Star Trek, but it's cleaner than Star Trek in my opinion. But some people just prefer the grungy look, but most people prefer it's something in between.
Okay.
To me, the game is too grungy. We only have two really clean landing zones or cities, and that's New Babbage and Orison, right? But everywhere that you go, that's supposed to be it doesn't even have to be outlaw. It can be a place like Levski that's just outside of the Empire, right? I know it's not in the game now, but it once was, and it'll be back again. There's this idea that everything has to be sort of dark and grungy, but I think a lot of Star Citizen players are also, Star Trek fans, and they want that more optimistic, more clean, for lack of a better word, view of the future. And I think there's room for both in the Star Citizen universe, and that's great. And that's what Origin, I think, gives as far as a ship manufacturer. Origin would have to exist.
Yeah,
that's why it does.
I agree.
And one last thing, I think it's like, as far as aesthetic goes, Origin ships tend to be curvy, whereas regular ships are more angular. So I think that some people may find the curviness maybe off-putting for some people too.
Yeah,
I'm surprised people don't like curves.
It's what people grow up with, you know. It's like a lot of ships are bulky, angular. That's what we think of when we think of an Earth ship. When we see something like curvy, that tends to be more alien.
This is one of the times where fastcart missed Jade's joke on that one. I can't
right?
Did you get that with fastcart? Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to be good.
Hey, somebody's gotta be bad. Go Map's not on the show. So.
I'm glad you brought up Star Trek, Jade, because that was the one thing about Origin that I absolutely loved, is it gave me that Star Trek feel. And that's what you were saying. That's what I kind of saw in this game, was having that bit of Star Trek life with a little bit of Star Wars Outlaw, but mostly it's like the sleek design, the nice, in a way, comfy feeling, and something that lasts,
Yes, that's what I love about this game in general, is that it has the potential to unite all the different tribes of space, what would you call it, space operas, Star Wars, Star Trek, Expanse, Babylon 5, you name it. Like, there's something for you in this game. So it's okay to not like every ship manufacturer or every ship. That just means they're doing their job.
Yeah, it does. And it also brings in another group of players who maybe all the other traditional things that we've been playing for a long time, maybe you never really felt, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm not a big combat person, right? Mad Style, oh my God, Mad Style, 18 community gifts. Thank you. You pushed us over the edge. I saw what you're trying to do, Mad Style. Thank you.
Man. That scrolled off my screen. I had to scroll back up to see how many you gave.
Yeah, thank you, Mad Style. You guys send some love to Mad Style if he gave you a gift sub. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you, boss lady.
Hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming over, boss lady. She's from over with Kai's group, with Black Sky Legion. Great to see you. Okay, listen, let's jump into this because we've got to go through the history, and then we're going to start talking about these ships. Jade, I don't know if you saw me and DK, but DK, let's show her. We came ready for the drinks. So just so you'll know, we got our mugs, so we're ready to go. Okay.
And also, every time we say the L word, the viewers in chat have to take a drink.
God.
Definitely. I'm actually drinking apple juice out of one of my 2 Origin mugs.
There you go.
So,
I am having an aperitif. An aperitif.
Jay did it. She bought one to keep in the box, and she take the other one to use.
It's true. Like, I posted a picture in the Soul Citizens Discord a while back of one of the Origin mugs, along with a NASA Kepler mug from the Kepler science team, and like another space like themed mug, right? So like they just all work really well together, and one of those are a souvenir that I will never touch, and the other one I'll drink out of.
There you go. Yep. All right, let me jump into this history here from Origin. There's a lot here, gang, but I'm going to try and read it and get through it very quickly. Listen, this portfolio originally appeared in Jump Point 17. It was updated in 2019, so take that for what it's worth. If it is possible for a company to merge class and sophistication with the sheer risk of spaceflight and the cold-blooded nature of interstellar dogfighting, Origin Jumpworks comes the closest. The company's extensive array of high-end spacecraft is known for their sleek and sophisticated lines. Similarly, they have cultivated an exclusive customer base from the rich and the powerful. As Origin's perfectly manicured sales representatives eagerly point out, selecting an Origin design doesn't just mean buying a ship, it means choosing a lifestyle. Origin was incorporated during the mid-28th century and produced high-quality thrusters used by the UAE military and mounted on the ostentatious Robert Space Industries star yachts. With the need for personal spacecraft growing exponentially, Origin stopped making components and made a move to compete with the companies they initially supplied. Within 10 years of this transition, the company was producing a top 5 selling mid-scale transport, and within 50 years, their small and exclusive customer base had propelled Origin's gross profits to be neck and neck with RSI's spacecraft division. Founded on the banks of the Rhine and Cologne, Origin initially had strong ties to Earth, going so far as to manufacture every component for their Elite 600 line in Seoul. These strong ties were severed in 2913 when President Jennifer Friskers made an unexpected executive order that declared Terra as the new cultural capital of the UEE and announced intentions to move the corporate headquarters and primary design team from Earth to New Austin. Since then, almost all of Origin's manufacturing operations have left the Sol system, with only an engine testing facility remaining on Earth's moon. Government scrutiny of the company since the move has also flourished, with tax issues quadrupling. In 2994, a hack of Origin Systems leaked a ship prototype called Goldfinch. An ensuing scandal implicated the Senator's Office of Executive Services, OES, in orchestrating the theft, but no formal charges were ever filed. New Austin has since become an Origin town, with the company holding fast as the key employer. The system has become a mecca for Origin enthusiasts, with wealthy buyers traveling across the galaxy to purchase their ships straight from the factory floor. A stunning company showcase in the center of the city highlights M50s, 300s, and 890 jumps in the series of life-sized action dioramas that carry a significant cost to set up and display. Additionally, Origin has sponsored naming rights for local stadiums, education centers, and streets. Tourists not looking to land a luxury ship instead leave New Austin with a cocktail glass set laser etched with the Origin logo, branded clothing, or highly detailed I could never know how you pronounce that. Is it takuetsu ship models?
Yeah. Takusu.
It's something like that, yeah. Through the years, Origin has remained synonymous with luxury while also delivering a diverse lineup that includes open canopy cruisers, single-seat speeders, and luxury yachts. CEO Jennifer Friskers consistently pushes the company to reinvent the wheel. She often requests that engineers and designers revisit old ideas to see if fresh eyes or modern advances might now make it Origin worthy. The result is a fast staple of ships that can address a wide variety of functions while still maintaining Origin's sleek and sophisticated style. Boom. There we go. So Origin Jumpworks. And fastcart, just so you'll know, you love Terra, just let you know. That's where Origin is. So
that's right.
I know. I heard.
Just letting you know, you're going to be surrounded by Origin t-shirts no matter where you go, brother. That's going to be the deal. Okay.
It's something I'll just have to live with.
Okay. I'm sure you will. Okay. All right. Well, listen, let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to start out on the low end and work our way up to the high end. This is a very anticipated vehicle for me. Boom. Most of you guys know this is the Origin X1. Let me read the background on this. There are 3 of them, the Touring, the Velocity, and the Force. Welcome to the next level with the X1, Origin Jumpworks' new high-performance open canopy vehicle. Built from lightweight polymers, the X1 takes speed and agility to the next level thanks to a seamlessly integrated engine technology and joint vector thrust placement. Innovative design and high-quality engineering weave together to create a flight experience like no other. That's for the X1 Touring. For the Velocity, how do we make fast go faster? Origin Jumpworks X1 Velocity dares to push the boundaries of speed by stripping down the base X1 to its core elements, eliminating the weapon mount, and incorporating a new Syntec composites to create a lighter chassis for overall weight loss. And last but not least, the Force. Built to endure tougher environments and look good doing it, the X1 Force is a modified version of the base X1 model, featuring additional defensive elements to toughen up this speedy and agile open canopy bike, allowing it to serve in a variety of roles from exploring worlds to potential security infiltration ops. Boom. Jade, you're the last one in, so I'm gonna go to you first. Any ideas or thoughts about the X1 series of bikes?
Yes, I can't wait. Can't wait until I can ride my X1 in the Daymar Rally.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting that every bike that we have, and I kept hoping when this first came out, because if you look at the animation there, I was almost hoping this would be a closed canopy design, and that it would be one of the only bikes that did have a closed canopy, but it is open canopy. So obviously
It's close though.
Yeah, but the concern is exposure to elements. And that's the factor. That's like when we ride in the tumble vehicle versus one of the reasons why I like the G12 is that at least in the G12 you can go out in weather and not have an issue. And I was hoping that was going to happen with this bike, but it didn't. Jade, if you and I remember correctly, the 400i commercial, we got a glimpse of this, right? We saw it actually going up in the elevator when we got really hopeful that the X1
will be coming soon.
Right.
TM.
Yep. fastcart, you're not an Origin person, but what do you think about the X1, the design of it?
I was tempted to. I mean, this one is not as curvy, but it is cleat. So I was tempted to get one, but I decided to melt all of my vehicles and just get it in game. So I might get this one in game, but we'll see. But I this one I do like the look of it and the aesthetics of it.
Okay. DK, how about you? Any of the ones in particular do you own?
I've got the Turing, but I think I'm going to get all of that stuff
You got
too.
the cherry one?
No, the Turing, not the cherry one.
I thought you got that cherry red one because I
would want to get that one. I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. I want that one.
Yeah, I hate that.
I have the Velocity, but it's not the cherry red one because I got it after the concept. Because I have the Origin Everything pack, but the X1 came out after it.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy it on concept. One of the few Origin things that I didn't buy when it was on concept.
You know what?
Yeah.
You should put in a concierge ticket saying they should update the package to include it.
I think they already have. I think it's already. But they're not going to upgrade my package. I don't think. I wouldn't try to do that. But if somebody were to get that package today, I believe the X1 is included. But definitely do your research and check on the our site website.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. Out of all the bikes that are made, I have all the bikes. But this one is probably my favorite, and I hate to say it. I said this. You guys heard my story about the 600i before, and I got to say the same thing about this bike. It ain't out, but I don't care. I wanted it. You know what I mean? I really don't care. I wanted it. The design on it, I love these animations that we're seeing on how you access the components on it.
I know, that's so cool.
Yeah. So again, them integrating this aspect of style and ergonomic design and all this other stuff along with it is really cool to me. So I'm interested. And I've always had an attitude of like, hey, if this is the last bike they produce, fine, because everything they've learned from previous bikes, hopefully this one will be the epitome of what they've learned as far as design and technology for the bikes in the game. So
I love those two images that were right after one after another. The one that shows it as like a street bike, and then the next one shows it with all this dust, like it could be like on Daymar.
Yeah,
like it's clearly something that can be on all different terrains and be very useful.
Definitely.
And I think a lot of salt towards this bike comes from the fact that the 400i is the only ship that has a garage that's specifically built for one type of vehicle.
Yes,
and
I agree.
Please repeat that, Jade. Please repeat that, please. Let's put that disclaimer
the garage
out there.
in the 400i is only for the X1. Don't try to put anything else in it because that's for clubs. those don't exist in the Origin.
You can do what you want.
That's right.
And you know what? They should realize that the built-in security system shows that every time you try to put it in there, the bike starts sparkling and flying.
It's sparking all over the place.
That's
right.
Origin security
Even
system
in Knox.
says this does not belong in here. I don't
That's
know why
right.
people don't understand that.
I mean, people have built, RVs specifically to house your Ducati.
There you go.
I mean, that's this is what happens.
Right. Right.
You see what I have to put up with?
I know.
By the way, I just want to say that according to the RSI site, the X1 base model is $40 USD. The X1 Velocity is $45, and the X1 Force is $50 USD. So those are the prices for them.
Now, as far as this bike goes, definitely got spaces for this. These are the bikes that I will have accompanying my Origin ships, no question about it. I don't have the Velocity but I do have the Force, and I think I own 2 or 3 of the Touring. So I'm excited for this. Hopefully, we'll be seeing it pretty soon. I know CIG had it on their big progress tracker at one point. They started working on it, so hopefully we'll see it fairly soon. I'll be truly excited to see that. Okay, let's move on here. Let's go on to our next one. Since we're covering vehicles here, Jade, would you mind reading the stuff for the G12, please?
Yes, I wouldn't mind. Yes, I will read it. Yes, trek to the edge of the galaxy with confidence, thanks to Origin's trademark build quality and design. Built with the most extreme environments in mind, the G12 suits all types of planetary travel, from traversing tundras to sightseeing. That's for the G12. There are variants, the G12R, stripped back and meticulously engineered for performance. Origin has taken everything learned from preparing the 350R and M50 ships for competition and added it to the ubiquitous ground racer. Lighter, faster, and with a built-in EMP protection, it's ready for anything the Outlands can throw at it. Ooh, that would be pretty serious in the Day One rally. And then for the people who need to shoot at something, the G12A. The G12A combines military might with Origin's unique approach to high-end engineering. Designed for all offensive ground-based operations, it is the ideal partner for long-range perimeter patrols, intercepting assailants and exploring dangerous new locales.
Okay. FC, I'll start out with you on this one with the G12. Any thoughts about this as a vehicle?
I think I have some of the CCUs in my hangar, not in my bag, but in a hangar. Like you said, it is a closed canopy, so it might offer more protection. But I think it might just be more of a target because people want to shoot at it more than any other vehicle. But we shall see.
Can I explain that? Why? This goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Why do you think people will want to shoot at this versus any other vehicle? It's less threatening.
For one thing, go ahead. For one thing, especially with the cargo one, you might be carrying something more expensive. So if you take one out, yeah, like I said, people want to. They probably think that you have enough money to replace it easily, or maybe they want to steal it and just to have one for themselves.
So you basically endorsed what Jade said earlier. A bunch of haters. Okay, that's what I needed to hear.
Yeah,
okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, DK, what are your thoughts on the G12? Your thoughts on the G12?
I like the G12. It's going to be my my runabout when I land my 600i on some of those moons and planets and stuff. I mean, it's a gorgeous vehicle. I think it's going to be very useful. People always say Origin's useless. No, it's going to be very useful when I go out and do some archaeological digs and find some of those, special artifacts out there and bring them back to sell for large quantities of money. And
you may need to click your camera again. Go and try to click your camera.
Oh, I've been clicking my camera. Yeah, this thing is a mess.
No problem. General Larson, thank you for that resub. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, we made our September goal, so thank you everybody who
thank you.
Subscribing.
Yeah, when Matt Style hit it, that's what I said. He hit our goal. We're there. Thank you.
But yeah, I can't wait until the G12 comes out. Okay. I can't wait to drive that thing around. It's fitting with that. It maybe should come out with the 600i rework. Maybe that would be a good time to push it.
Yeah.
Goes along with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jade, what are your thoughts about the G12?
Oh, of course, I absolutely love it. Looking at that G12R with the EMP, it's amazing to me that they thought of everything, right? Like if you're racing, you might get attacked by pirates, right? So they put an EMP. What other ground vehicle that's built for racing specifically puts no manufacturer puts an EMP in a racing vehicle except for Origin because they think ahead. Yep. Right.
Now,
that's right there.
You're a big race fan. You're a big race fan. I want to ask you a question though. Do you think that they'll have restrictions on its use? Because it does give the vehicle an advantage over other vehicles. Do you think that they'll put a restriction on its use?
I think the restriction will be if it's because you can fire on an opposition's support ship in a Daemon rally.
Yeah.
But the support ships can't fire on your vehicle. Now, I look at the EMP as a defensive weapon, not an offensive weapon. So if you can fire on a rival team support ship with an Ursa or a Cyclone, then I don't see them restricting the EMP.
Well, I was concerned about whether or not will the EMP work on vehicles.
Oh no, that's interesting. But you can fire at other vehicles, right?
True.
So, but that would I hope that they wouldn't restrict it, because that would definitely thank you for that.
Thank you, Colossal.
Yeah, that would definitely spice up the competition, because then if you see that you're racing against a G12R, you're going to want to keep your distance outside that EMP range.
Right. Okay. All right, cool. For me, I love this vehicle. Again, I hate to say it, when I saw it, it's like, ooh. But let me say this about it. I've tried to check the dimensions on this, and DK, Jade, maybe you guys can help me with it. I am concerned about its size. I'm not too worried about it getting into 600i, like you said, DK.
Right.
I am concerned about it getting in a 400i.
I don't think it's going to be for the 400i.
No, I'm just saying, I was hoping that it would. That, I could.
I would be nice. I think it would be really nice.
Wide. It seems a little.
It's very wide.
Yeah.
It's very wide.
And I would love to have that as a vehicle. I mean, don't get me wrong. Easy to put an X1 in there too, but boy, it would have been cool to know that the vehicle could fit into that as well as the 600i.
Well, maybe Origin can come out with something the size of one of the Cyclones.
Right. Doing donuts on the ice at New Balance in the blizzard. When I do not do it right, getting slizzard, flipping scissors in my ride, like 3-6. What we really need is an Origin G6.
Oh,
that's right. Hey, this is how Jade made $2 million in one night.
Actually 5. We're wrapping on a space station during Zenith Threat while we were waiting for the event to start again.
Oh, Ops Chief, you're breaking my heart. I know you didn't say that. Good googly moogly.
Mule.
We have to get a new mod. Can you believe he said put a mule inside of a 400? Oh, such blasphemy.
But Griffin, to your point, I think Origin is way ahead of you, because you see how those wheels are? Those wheels can detach, and that'll let you put it on the 400i.
The detach.
I'm messing with you.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't think so.
Like, don't mess
around with Origin. You mess around with Drake, you can mess around with everybody else. Don't mess around with Origin. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and move on here, gang. Let's get our next one here. Let's see. FC, would you mind reading that one for us for the M50?
Okay, the M50, if you want to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible and with as much style as possible, then the Origin M50 is for you. Featuring supercharged engines that counter tiny weapon loadout, the M50 is a ship for going fast.
Okay. Anybody own one? Yeah. Anybody own one?
I do not.
I don't, but I want to get. It's one of those ships I would probably get in game.
Okay,
but I'm definitely going to get one.
It was the first Origin ship I bought. It was literally when it first came out. I got it. This is back in the day when I didn't know any better about buying during concept or LTI or any of that stuff. And so when I got it, I want to say it was $90 for the backing, and it was 6 months of insurance. And I think over a period of time, I decided to upgrade and went in my buyback, and I said, I'll get it back one day. And I never did. And then when they did the rework on it, I wanted to get it then. And I just haven't done it, because I know I do want it, because if nothing else, to complete my Origin line, because if there's anything I do have is an Origin line of ships. And this is the only Origin ship that I do not own. And so I do want to get it. But it's an excellent racer. There are some people who use this thing like crazy in fights, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Go ahead, fastcart.
To your point about fights, Miss Hart was an exclusive M50 fighter, and she could kick butt with that thing. I don't know if she still flies it, but yeah, back in the day, it was quite a good fighter as well as a racer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like back in Star Citizen Alpha 2.6 times, people hated fighting against the M50. I had one, and I do remember Miss Hartz was prolific, fighting people in an M50. I still have mine. and I'm, like happy to still have it. I'm curious about what they're going to do because they mentioned that you'll be able to swap. Oh wait, that's the 350R. Never mind. But it would be cool to see if they will like let you swap engines.
Yeah, they were supposed to. No, you're supposed to be able to swap engines on this. I thought that was part of this one.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you got it right.
Yeah. So like, when we see those kind of customization options and see how can you tune this for people who, are into ship racing, I think the M50 might give you an advantage if you can do a lot more performance tuning on it.
Yeah.
Can I say one thing about the M50 is that this one is more angular. This is one of the earlier Origin ships that came out, so they didn't really have the design language for it. But this one is more angular and less curvy, so I think that's another reason. Some people who may not get an Origin may like this ship.
I don't know, FC. It's more aircrafty than angular. That thing is nothing but smooth.
It's definitely more aircraft.
Yeah, it's more.
Yeah.
There's no.
I'm not saying it's not smooth, but yeah. It's like curvy, typically like a 350 or 100.
Well, I don't know. You got to take a walk around that thing. That thing ain't nothing but curves. I mean, it's pretty smooth. If you ever want to see a really high polished ship, this is the one to look at. The cockpit in it is really very well defined, very fast, very hard to hit also, which is another factor. I am a little saddened because CIG, when this ship came out, racing was supposed to be a big deal. You guys remember we used to go race at the racetrack all the time, the floating racetrack. But when things got implemented, like the Grimhex track and everything, I kept hoping there was going to be something that was going to get implemented where not only this ship but all the other ones that are in the game would get implemented. But we haven't seen that yet. We got go-kart racing.
And we don't have that. One final thing for me from M50, it's red, so it automatically goes faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. And other paints are available for it too. Go ahead, DK.
No, but I was going to say what they said in like the portfolio for Origin is that it's a power plant with a cockpit.
Yeah.
I love that analogy. A power plant with a cockpit.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. Okay, we're moving on here. This is a good throwback here. I'll do a little bit of the read on this one. Oh no, DK, you can read this one.
All right, the 85X.
Is it on here? Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yep. Elegantly styled and meticulously constructed, the 85X is a versatile and comprehensive away vessel that features precision control in and out of atmosphere. Utilizing much of the same thruster technology as the 300 series, it has the power of a racer with the reliability of a touring ship. Whether descending down to the planet surface or taking in the sights of your system, this runabout continues Origin's proud tradition of turning heads. Yep.
Anybody own one?
Yes.
Yep. What do you think about it?
Not yet.
I love it. I like using it to get out of Crusader. I love the fact that it's small and it can, fit into a lot of places that other ships cannot. And if you're an explorer that likes to explore in luxury, and I'm sure there will be places like, for instance, you can fly that through the forests on Microtech.
Yep.
It's that small. So it's one of the cutest ships in the game. I love it.
I remember when flying this was a very tough ship at one point because of the wing surfaces on it. It's very narrow. And it was really unstable in the earlier days. Now it flies incredibly well. It's really nice to fly in. It's also great as one of those ships when you're picking up a friend and you want to get from here to there. And as Jade mentioned, very, not something that people are going to pay attention to. You get in and out very fast. Definitely, Jade, you're 100% right on getting out of atmosphere, in and out real fast. I don't care where you're going from. And it's very economical.
Smallest two-seat ship, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice two-seater. Nice two-seater. I like it a lot. And at first I wasn't that crazy about the design, but it has kind of grown on me more and more. And now I'm at the point where I love it. So as far as it being a little coupe, this is also, for many of you all know, this is also the ship that was that came along with the 890 Jump in its original when it was concept. I don't know if it still comes with it now. I know I got one when I got mine. I got an 85X with it. But if I'm not mistaken, the 85X runs like $50 or $60, something like that, roughly, something around that price.
Oh, I can say.
Something
My
like
bad. I didn't look it up.
Yeah, it's
I
somewhere
do.
around there. It's fairly. It's not expensive. It's not very expensive. But it is. It's $50. Yeah.
575K AUEC in games, so it's really not that reasonably cheap by comparison. Yeah, that's a good point, Robert.
Ooh, thanks for the raid.
Thank you.
God. Who's it?
Welcome to Origin Day.
Thank you again. Thank you so much for that raid. Thank you for those of you who are coming over from Quasar. Thank you for that. Hope you guys had a great time over there. We're talking about Shipyard today. This is our series on the manufacturers in the Star Citizen universe, and we are covering Origin. And right now we're working our way from small to large, and we just talked about the 85X. Well, actually, this is like numerical order, I guess. So we're going in numerical order. We're at the 85.
Before we jump to the next one, correct me if I'm wrong, Griff, but is this not one of the few ships in the game that has a quantum drive but doesn't have a jump drive?
Ooh. That's a good trivia question, because I've forgotten the stats on this ship. Maybe somebody in chat
I think that was in the Q&A or something like that. I think she's correct, but I'm not sure anymore.
Says yes. Robert says yes. Okay. You are correct, Jade.
Okay.
Good piece of
and that's one of the things that So I brought one in concept because I kind of like it, but then as I started to use it and fly it, other people flew it. Like I said, in the early days, it didn't fly well, so I didn't have a chance to fly one recently. But I decided to use that as an LTI token, and that became my merchantman. So I think this was the best use of the 85X.
Quasar, I see that. Quasar says that we just finished giving away an Origin Jumpworks M50 interceptor on my stream. So see, that was fate. Today's Origin Day. We'll declare today Origin Day. That's awesome. Congratulations to the person that won, by the way. That's
congrats.
Awesome. That's awesome. You got a great ship. DK, M50, you said that you definitely want to get one?
Yes, okay. I definitely want to get one, but I'm going to get that in game. Yep. And the 85X, I think that's such a great little runabout. It's like you said, it's the perfect get it in and out of atmosphere type of ship. I always equate, a lot of people talk about Origin being BMW. I actually equate more Origin to Mercedes, just because of the versatility of the vehicles. Mercedes even made trucks. They do make trucks, big trucks. And Origin started out with the 600i. So I look at the 85X as like the AMG GT. It's a two-seater, fast. Looks good. People look at you when you're going by, and you're already way past them by the time they're able to say anything. That's just an awesome little ship. And whether I get that in game or if I, becomes a off the cuff purchase during IAE, because those things happen. So we'll see what happens. But I
want to go back to something FC said earlier. And this is one of the examples of where you do see some of the hard lines. Because many of us remember back when this ship first came out, we first saw the concept. The 300i also had very hard lines to it. And one of the images here at the beginning, the one where you see the ship flying over the water, that was the original concept drawing, not that one, but it was the original concept drawing that came out when the 890 jump came out. That one there.
Oh, that one.
That one there was the original design. So it's also interesting to see how these ships evolve, right? How they change over time. That's what you bought, but this is what you ended up with. And sometimes that's what happens in development for whatever those reasons may be. So just, you guys will know when ships change like that, for the most part, they've kind of kept ships that haven't changed very much. The Carrack did, but the Carrack did because it needed to, because of the way it was designed, where Origin got a whole brand new look out of it. So did the Drake Cutlasses. There was some technical issues that just didn't make that ship fly well with its previous design. Y'all remember them side wobbly engines? That was not going to work. So anyway.
Or sometimes TIG just had the FOV incorrect.
What do you mean?
That enrichment joke. Jay got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Joke.
This is about the Origin. If you bring up one more band thing today,
he's gonna say he's gonna do it.
Next thing you ask is,
I'm already tolerating that background. I'm already tolerating that background you got up there. All right. Okay, so let's go on and move on here. All right. Here we go. 100 series. This is one of the newer series of ships that came in from Origin. And I will read them. The Origin 100i, the 125a, and the 135c. For the 100i, tour the universe with the perfect coupling of luxury and performance. The 100i features Origin Jumpworks' patented air fuel system, making it the most efficient and eco-friendly ship in the market, on the market. Capable of long-distance flights that most ships of its size aren't equipped for, the 100i is perfect for solo flights, solo pilots looking to turn heads without sacrificing functionality or reliability. For the 125A, risks were meant to be taken, but why risk running out of fuel in the heat of battle? With the air fuel system, a souped-up weapon package, and all the luxury and refinement you've come to expect from Origin Jumpworks, the 125 has been designed for the discerning maverick. And last but not least, the 135C. With a deceptive amount of storage space in its sleek, stylish frame, the Origin's patented air fuel system, the 135 model, is the obvious choice for the musicians, couriers, and anyone trying to get the party started. Get there fast and look good while you are doing it. DK, I'll go to you on this one. The 135 series. Have you flown them? Do you own any of them? Any thoughts about them?
I've got a 100i, and I got that one because I had to have it. I mean, it's an Origin ship, so I had to go into my fleet. That thing is probably one of my most useful ships that I own at the present moment, especially when getting started new game, and after the wipe, it's my go-to because it does everything that I needed to do. And I got the 100i. I didn't get the 135c. I've got a 315p for stuff like that. But I got the 100i because it's quick to spawn. I can spawn it on a landing pad or at a platinum bay on an outpost, which I had to do several times. After one time, somebody blew up my 315p when I was doing a box mission. I'm like, well, okay, here you go. I'll just spawn my 100 and I'm out. Blow it up. I'll claim it again. It's a great little ship, and I love flying it. It's fast. It's sleek. It's an awesome ship.
Okay,
it really is.
FC.
Yeah, when I see that 100i, I think about you touring the universe, doing live DK house sessions.
Yes.
You mentioned musicians, right? Like, why not DJs too, right?
That's right.
It's interesting the difference in this and the 135C. Now, I have a 100i on one account. I've got a 135C on the other. The 135C, I'm like you at Dark Knight. I fly these things all the time. The fuel efficiency on them is incredibly good. That alone makes it worth flying. And before, I used to kind of make myself fly. Don't get me wrong. I will fly the Aurora once in a while. I'll break out the Mustang once in a while. But this ship is like the go-to, for starters for me. If I'm going to be in a starter ship, I will fly this thing. Also the Nomad too, but I really like this because of the fuel efficiency. FC, have you flown any of the 100 series before?
I had not flown any of the 100 series, but the fuel efficiency does interest me, so I'll probably get one in game. But we'll get to it in a bit. But I have the 315p. But I do like the look of it, relative to the 315p. The prices of it for the 100 and 125, 135 is 50, 60, and 65 respectively. I forgot to say the G12 is 60, 60, and 65. But yeah, so the 100, this is where the sleekness and the curves I find it okay. I like the spoiler on the back too. That's really cool. I really like the design of this ship. I'll probably get one in game.
Okay.
What's funny is Origin almost scrapped the design of this ship, and they actually, because they developed the air, they decided that they wanted to rebuild the 100 series and bring it back because they needed some ship that was going to fit it. And they said the air system was going to fit the best in the 100 series. And so they brought it out and they said, here we go. Okay. And it's beautiful.
Yeah. Jade, what about you?
Well, I think you to not ask me if I have one, because didn't I win one before I was
part
of the crew?
Did. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I love it. I remember when this commercial came out. Like if anybody's new that hasn't seen this commercial with the music and the voiceover, it's one of the best done ship commercials that the cinematics team have done for ships. But I remember when this came out, and then I read about the air thing, and I was like, this is going to be perfect when they start to add, fueling, having to refuel. And then if you're in Pyro, you're gonna not want to have to always call for a starfarer or somebody to refuel you. So this ship may actually be fairly useful and powered. Just don't leave it in a ruined station. You might not get it back, or you only get a couple pieces of it back.
Or yeah, I gotta say, or you come back and it'll be unblocked. So yeah.
Right, there you go.
Mhm.
Space blocks.
Yeah. I've shared the story before, but I've flown this ship before. I went from R Corp to all of its moons, then flew all the way to Microtech, went to all of its moons, and landed without having to refuel. The fuel and efficiency in this thing is really, really good. And I wasn't on empty when I went back, when I finally landed at Microtech. The ship handles very well. Cargo space is good. I have a 135C that I fly most of the time. And the great thing about that is you have an internal cargo bay as well as an external ramp cargo bay in the back. So you can carry quite a few things in it. Inconspicuous, small footprint, fast. Jade, I use this too, like you said, getting out of atmosphere, no problem at all. Have never been harassed in this ship, not once. Not once have I been harassed when I'm flying around in this ship. So I really like the 100 series. I think CIG did a great. And to your point, DK, the fact that they gave it a different feature, not just that it was a, that starter ship, but them giving it that air system made it, for me, it made it better. It made it better.
It did. And I'm telling you, people, if somebody's going to be messing with you in a 100i, they've got serious issues.
Don't put it past people.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I know. Atomic Glue, thank you for that follow. Thank you so much for that follow. Okay, let's move on to the next one here in the series. We're leaving out of the 100s, and we're going to the one that started it all, the 300 series. Jade, could you hit those 300s for us?
Oh, yes. The 300i touring. If you're going to travel the stars, why not do it in style? The 300i is Origin Jumpworks' premier luxury spacecraft. It is sleek, silver killer that sends as much of a message with its silhouette as it does with its weaponry. You want me to go to the next one, 315P?
Yep, read them all.
Okay, all right. 315P is a lovely ship. Exploration is man's highest calling. Prepare to chart distant horizons with man's sophisticated piece of technology, the Origin 315P, featuring a more robust power plant and a custom scanning package exclusively designed by Chimera Communications. And I might also add, it has a tractor beam. The 325A, just because it's a rough galaxy doesn't mean you need to sacrifice your comfort. The 325A can come out on top in any dogfight. The 325A features an advanced weapon payload as well as a custom targeting system designed specifically for the 325A by Wilsop. And then the 350R, Origin Jumpworks 300 series, is the ultimate fusion of elegance and power. Every component, every part is individually calibrated. So no matter which model and options you choose, your ship will stay in perfect harmony as the ultimate of astroengineering. By far the fastest member of the family, the 350R's refocus of all of the 300's power translates it into pure speed.
Thank you. Very cool. Jade, I'll start with you this time since you read, and I think it was back to you. Out of these four, do you own any? Have you flown any? Any thoughts about them?
Yeah, I owned all of them except for now I don't own a 350R anymore, but I will probably earn one in game. I've flown all of them. I love my 315P. I'm just waiting for exploration to really come into the game. And also I think it's going to be one of the first ships that we can use a tractor beam on, because didn't they show us a while ago?
They put it in a sneak peek.
Yeah. So if you're an owner of a 315P, be hopeful, because I think soonish we might be able to actually use the tractor beam on it. I love this whole series because they were the first ships that we could do customization, and I know there's a little bit of a there are opinions on that because of how it was rolled out. Yeah, debate. I'm going to just put it nicely, but I love the internal options, and I want to see that. I'm a snob, right? I'm part of the group I'm not a literal snob, but I'm part of Griff's group of exclusive Origin people, or luxury ship people.
Yep.
But I also want to see those customization options, interior customization options for other ship manufacturers, because I do believe the ultimate is to make a ship your home, for a lot of people. And of course, Origin was the first to allow you to sort of do that. So just one word on the 350R. I know a lot of people are like, why do you need internal space in a racing ship, right? You got, that internal space. And one of the reasons is in lore, and I'm hoping that they put this in the game, there's an actual endurance race that the Xi'an started. And my Xi'an's not the best, but I believe it's called the Ko'ekoea. And it runs for like 200 to 250 hours.
Yep.
So you definitely want like a bathroom and a bed, because, that's a long race.
Especially if you're just going in a straight line.
Yeah.
FC, how about you? Any of the 300 series?
The 315P, baby. Yeah, I love this ship. It's one of the first ships that I bought. I really, it is the first ship that I bought. I bought two ships, and the other one was a Hornet. But this is one of the first ships that I bought. I had since melted it and got an LTI because when I first got here, joined the community, I didn't know any better. But yeah, then I melted it again so I can use the customization on the website. And like Jed said, there are some opinions about it. But I got the processor, clock. I didn't get everything. And something else, but I forget what it is. So it is a great little ship. I'm looking forward to using it as exploration and just going around sometime. I think it's my second fastest ship after the MSR. And that's the other thing. But I may get the 350R in game for racing, especially for straight line racing, because as far as I know, it doesn't handle turns that well. But is everyone else here beside me a snob? Oh,
yes.
Snob.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Of course.
I mean, like I'm going to mention his Banu. Please don't ding me on this, Griff. Your Banu's bling, right? But it's just not luxury enough.
I've tried to tell him that, Jade. He ain't
Right?
hearing it. He ain't hearing it. I
don't need to go overboard, okay?
There's no such thing as a luxury cargo ship. There's no such thing as a luxury cargo ship. I'm sorry. It's pretty.
I'm luxury explorer.
It's pretty. That's what I'm going to say about it. All right.
But also to 300, I think it's like really cost effective. We're like it meets that middle line, especially for people who are like looking for something like a step up 100 or what have you. I think it's really cost effective, US dollar wise anyway.
Yeah.
Are we going to mention that this ship has gone through redesign?
Yeah, I was about to touch on that a little bit.
Okay.
To talk about how this was the original ship that many of us saw. This and the Aurora were two of the first, and the Drake were the commercials that we saw CIG put out and drew people in big time. But there was also a lot of controversy about this ship when it got its rework, because the rework for this ship was one of the more drastic reworks of ships that they had done. fastcart mentioned this earlier, how there was much more of a fighter feel to this ship. I had that original 300i with the hard lines on it, missile racks. I mean, it definitely looked combat. It was nice inside. I'm not gonna even say it was nice inside. This sucker was cheesy inside because it had upholstery in it. Okay, it was totally different. What they considered luxury at that time. I mean, there was a fire extinguisher on the wall. There was a whole lot of stuff in this ship back in the day, but it had some red upholstery on the walls. Okay. But
oh Lord,
they did do a major rework on it because they rethought the design out. Many of you all know that many of the earlier ships, when they came out, the metrics were not all made for these ships yet, and so they literally had to do it no matter what. It wasn't just because of aesthetics, but they really needed to rework the ship. Chris Smith worked on this ship, and the ship went from a much more heavier combat feel to more of what Origin's lore was about, which was something that was much more that reflected a different aesthetic. Let's just say that, a different aesthetic that was more toward the luxury aspects. Because before, white was not enough to define it as being that. It literally changed over that change. Some people didn't like it. There were a lot of people who did not like it. They liked the harder combat look. Other people embrace this one. I do want to.
But that happens for every redesign, especially like the Cutlass and the Mustang Beta and the Mustang.
But this was different, Fastcart. I think because people bought the 300 because it looked like a fighter. That was the feel. It had the hard lines, like you mentioned earlier, of a fighter, and now it had this like glossier, softer look to it. That I think that regardless of dealing with what weapons you can carry and anything else, just the look of it just didn't come off as being that hardline combat vehicle that we see in Aegis and Anvil. So, and I can understand that, because there were some people who, like a lot of people, we bought the ships because of the way they looked, and maybe they weren't happy. But then there were another group of people who did like it, Jay, I want to go back to something you said earlier about when they gave us the option to customize. I know we're joking around about the fact that they decided to choose Origin, but I will tell you this. I do get a different feeling when I go in my ship that's been customized, because I know that it doesn't look like anybody else's ship. It is my ship when I go in it. Whether it's the clock on the desk, whether it's the picture, whether it's what color bed sheets I picked for it. Yeah, I'm bringing up bed sheets, y'all. So y'all know they're going to start on that. Whatever it is. I mean, there were all these different options. I mean, outside of the externals. Now, what I did do on mine, because I had the 300i that normally comes in white, I ended up going with that stealth black on it on the outside. But my interiors are reflected.
I did the same too. Yeah.
But my inside have that black and yellow colored striping that's in it. I changed this, and it's so nice when I go on that ship that it doesn't look like somebody else's 300i. So I can imagine, to your point, Jade, how important being able to personalize our ships, not just being able to put paint on the outside, but like you said, home away from home. When I go inside this ship, to know that my inside looks different than Fastcart's or looks different than DK's is going to make that ship feel like it belongs to me and have greater value in it, because it's mine. It's not somebody else's.
And I can't wait till CIG introduce that option for other ships too, because I think it's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and you can see how people get excited about skins. So imagine what it's going to be like when people can go in and actually, whatever degree they can.
I mean, well, people already did it for 300 series. So yeah, I think people went wild when the customization came out. I know I
did. They weren't wild about paying for it, but they did.
Well, I mean, some of it cheap. It's like $5 or $2 between $2 and $5.
Well, you know what? To your point, Fastcart, people were content with paying for those cool options like the clock and the coffee maker.
Yeah, it's a cool option.
I think what people wrestled with were those weapons packages.
The weapons packs,
people wanted to be able to customize the way they wanted to customize, and they didn't like being forced into, like, maybe I like this gun, but I don't like this cooler. You know what I mean? I think
sometimes some people had problems. I think it was Gomez had problems with some of the customization options. Like why would you pay this much for that option when you could just get it in game for cheaper? But I mean, you can say that for all the options and stuff like that. But I think those struck a bad chord in the community.
Yeah, I always think of the food processor, right? Because we had that customization option before we actually even had food in the game. Like, remember? And I remember people saying, "Well, what's that for? Like, that doesn't, is that going to have any use?" And it doesn't have use yet, but. Look at how much those Big Benny's noodle machines go for on the gray market. I think, yes, you're going to want to have a, like a food processor or things like that in your ship. And one of the other things about the rework is if you compare the old 300i commercial to this one, and this one, another commercial, I'm like, this is one of the cutest commercials that CIG's ever put out. It really shows like the direction that they've gone. Between how this ship is marketed, who it's marketed to, it's now also about style, not just the function. And it's a ship that you can fall in love with.
Yep. Let me throw my hands in on there on the 350 on the 300 series. So when I started this game and I got the Aurora package, I never flew the Aurora. I immediately upgraded to the 300i. And then I immediately saw that the 315P was only $5 more, and it had more cargo space and longer range, and I immediately upgraded to the 315P. And then it had the customization, so I immediately did all of the customizations. My only thing is that I got it in white with the white paint, and I didn't think about it until later. I wanted the black paint. So guess what? I waited until Concierge, and then I melted that Aurora and got my 315 in black with the right style that I wanted it and everything else. But everybody kept saying that they love the Aurora, or not the Aurora, love the Titan. Everybody's got to get the Titan.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like, I don't want the Titan. It's ugly. It's a squished space shuttle. It looks like a penguin. It's ugly. I'm sorry, you Titan lovers. It's really ugly. The 315 is such a much better looking ship and it has more cargo.
That's why the Pisces defeated the Titan this year. Just saying.
Yep. So I'm sorry. I love that 315. It's great. I just wish they fixed the canopy. Please fix the canopy right now, because that is just totally ruining the experience right now. Because I want to fly that ship. I really do. Yeah. But it just gets dirty too quick.
I think out of all the ships that we're talking about today, probably the 315P probably had the unanimous vote as being an awesome ship. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, well, I'm just gonna say the 315 period. I've got a 315P that I use in my regular account, and to your point, DK, I use that whenever I start the game out. I always distribute certain things at different locations throughout the verse, so that if I die or whatever stuff is there, right? So that means I might load up 10 flight suits of this, 10 armor, all that stuff, right? It all goes into the 315P, and I make my rounds in this ship. Fuel efficiency is good, cargo space is good, it's fast, and I love using it for that, right? And to Jade's point earlier, the tractor beam is coming. It's got the long range sensor package that comes in it. There's a whole lot of other features that come with this ship as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this becomes, for a lot of people, the starting point for them doing exploration in the game. So yeah, great ship.
Yeah, the P stands for Pathfinder.
That's right. Great ship. A lot of fun.
Oh, by the way, Go Mob, why are you trying to do combat in a ship with 2 guns?
Well, you know what?
There's a 325A for that, brother.
If you remember, you used to be able to put 3 guns on the 315P.
They could, so you could remove the utility and put it.
You used to be able to put on 3 of those omniskis, whatever they call them, omniskis.
The omniskis. Yeah.
Oh man, you could go out and kill in that thing back in the day.
You meant 325A. Okay, I get you.
There we go.
And before I forget, for US dollars, the $200 is 60, the 315 is 65, the 325 is 70, and the 350 all jumped up to 125 USD. So those are the prices. Whatever.
How much are they in UEC? AUC? Do you have those?
I don't have it on
okay.
700 something, around 700, 800,000 for pretty much all of them. I think that 325A is more expensive than the rest.
Okay.
Or maybe the 350R. I gotta double.
350R.
The 350 is more.
Yeah, that's the
that's not bad. Those are fairly affordable. You can earn those.
Yeah, they go up. They go up in price based on their numbers.
And you can rent the 300i.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
It's a rentable ship.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can.
Vantage Rentals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to, I think we had a new person that dropped in here. Amchuka. I saw your message in there. You said you were glad that you stopped by. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, let's continue on here. Now, here's a ship of great controversy. We're going to talk about this next one here. The 400i. Jade? No, I read that. This one goes to fastcart. Fastcart, could you read 400i, please?
The Origin 400i, to explore the stars is the most noble endeavor, and the Origin Jumpworks has risen to the occasion in crafting the 400i, the ultimate high-performance pathfinder. Representing a harmonious concourse of style, quality, and sophistication, the 400i exhibits class-leading range, substantial defense capabilities, and a factory-equipped scanning array, while maintaining the comfort and elegance Origin is known for. Take on the harshest corners of the galaxy without compromise.
Okay, so let me throw out a little thing here, and then I'll get you guys feedback on this one. The 400i is the one that seemed to be accepted by the Star Citizen community. We talked about at the beginning how everybody pushed back against Origin previously, but when this ship came out, all of a sudden the 400i was the greatest thing next to sliced bread. Now, has a very unique design, looks very different. For some people, they hate it. I was not crazy about it when we saw the early stuff of it. It rubs off on me now. Now I think it looks very, very cool. I think it is very, very cool. FC, since you're the person who does not own this ship, I'm going to go to you first. Give me your thoughts about the 400i.
It's supposed to be the competitor to the Constellation, and a lot of people disagree with that moniker. The 400i, like you said, Constellation when it first came out, and it had gone on some people. Like a lot of people hated it, and then you're like, oh, we can do this and this on this ship. Oh, it's useful. So I think that's what turned the corner for the 400i. I'm not looking forward to getting one in game. But I don't blame people who prefer this over the other similar to its class.
So let me go to a real quick question to you, because let's talk about classes of ships. Let's talk about the Constellation Aquila. Let's talk about the 400i. Let's talk about the Drake Corsair. Are any of those in that class something you'd be interested in, or are you just going to skip from that and go up to the next level of exploration? I
had the Constellation Aquila. And then it happened last time, and I'll tell the story. I go and make a quick story. I got the Odyssey. I upgraded my Constellation LTI Constellation to the Odyssey, but then I played the CCU game and thought that I could save a lot of money, and so I melted the Odyssey and took it up to a 600i, and so my 600i is cheaper than the Constellation Phoenix. So that's why I'm keeping a 600i and not getting a Phoenix anymore.
Outside of economics, I'm worried about playability as far as preference of ship.
Playability.
Let me ask you a stupid question. Are you going to hold on to the 600i to see what the rework is like, and depending on that, you'll keep it, or are you going to change that to an Odyssey or something else no matter what?
I probably will keep it no matter what, but we'll see what happens. I might change my mind, but right now, my plan is to keep the 600i for usefulness for exploration.
Okay, and we'll cut that.
But yeah, if it wasn't for the 600i, I'll probably still have the Aquila.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, so you're not interested in the 400i at all then. Okay, cool. DK, let me go to you on this one. 400i, thoughts?
400i was instant buy for me.
Okay.
Instant. Because it's my favorite ship. It's a daily driver. It does everything I want it to do. Mm-hmm. It might not do everything that y'all want it to do, but it does everything that I want it to do. Mm-hmm. And that's all that matters. It's a beautiful ship. It's, it just ticks all of the right boxes. It's fast. It's sleek. With that Meridian paint, it just looks gorgeous. And I want to touch on quickly on these comparisons. The 400i is compared to itself, and that's it. I'm tired of it's compared. It doesn't have enough guns like the Andromeda. The Andromeda is a gunship.
Exactly.
It's a gunship. But it goes against every single constellation. So it doesn't have enough cargo than a Taurus. It doesn't have enough guns like the Andromeda. It doesn't have a hot tub like the Phoenix. What else does it need? Come on, people. It is not a freelancer. It's not a Cutlass. A Cutlass doesn't even have a bathroom.
Exactly. It's got more luxury than a Connie Aquila.
Come on, people. Everybody's like, it compares to this. No, the 400i compares to itself. That's it. It is in a class of its own. You have pushed my button. It is on a class of its own, and that's it. I compare it to nothing else because it needs no comparisons. Okay. It's just an awesome ship. Period.
I gotta give a shout out to Zombie Pig. She said DK taking off his earrings.
Yep, I saw that.
But I gotta push back a little bit because DK, it was CIG who did the comparison.
I don't care who said it. That was a mistake on their part.
I agree.
Big time mistake on their part.
You know what? It's a Connie Aquila killer.
No, you're not gonna go there. Oh,
there you go.
All right, Jay, give us your thoughts on the 400i. And I do have a question for you guys.
First of all, I think this ship broke down barriers in the like you said, in the Star Citizen community. This was the first Origin ship that I think became widely accepted. And I believe it all has to do with how it was introduced. Because if you remember, we saw it first at CitizenCon, and we didn't see it in a sleek white skin. We saw it in this rugged, gunmetal skin, and
Right.
it was in a rugged star system of pyro. And I think that opened people's minds up to the possibility that an Origin ship isn't necessarily just about style, but it can be very useful out on the frontier. And that's what this ship is for. It's not, I see people, it's not as good of a combat ship. Yeah, but how good are combat ships with stellar cartography? Because it's got a stellar cartography deck, right? It's also very luxurious. You see them sipping wine in it. And you can take it to a place like Pyro. It's got two airlock, it's got the airlock, right? It doesn't have to, but it's got an airlock. It's got a lot of usefulness, and it feels like it's just that right size that if you're a solo player, you can have your little home in space, home away from home. Or if you have some friends, you take them on it, and it's a really, really good ship. When I'm not using my Pisces, this is my daily driver. And yeah, we'll get to that later. I think there should be a 200 series. It would be like Origin Pisces, but
we're gonna get to that in a bit.
We'll get to that later.
Thank you, Frosty.
Oh yeah,
Thank you,
Frosty. You all give some love to Frosty if you benefited from those subs there. Thank you, Frosty.
And by the way, the 400i is $250 US. I don't know what that is on in UEC, so someone can check that out.
It's 6.5 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely
it's fair.
Be something you want to attain and have to work to get.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question here. This is for DK and Jade. Because fastcart, fastcart is the miser amongst us, right? He's always finding the best way to get the best deal on a ship. You guys have not once mentioned CCU, work for it in game, blah 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 blah. You're like, I bought it. Now, we are pro. You don't have to spend money on this game. We've always made it very clear that their ships are in the game. You can work for them. If you're spending money because you're supporting the development, that's great. That should be your motive. Don't get caught up with the whole wallet thing and get caught up with the marketing and all that stuff, right? We've always said that on the show. But I've noticed that you two Origin owners have not said that in the sense of how you've acquired your own ships. So what is it about these ships that has made you say, I'm going to open my wallet up? Why didn't you decide to say, I'll just wait because I know it's going to be in game? Is there something about this particular manufacturer that makes you, maybe it is the fact that you just have the money laying around, you want to do it? I don't know, but I'm digging in your personal business a little bit here.
No,
what is it?
Go ahead and go first, Jade.
What is it that made you do that?
Well, it was perfect timing, right? What really got me was the 600i release, and the 400i was an insta buy for me, but the very first insta buy was going to be the 600i, and I was like, well, wait a second, I like these other ships that this manufacturer makes. I want all of them, and it happened to be at the height of the last, not the last, but the crypto cycle before this last one. And I was like, I need to take a little bit of profit and, treat myself to something nice. So I bought the whole Origin pack because I wanted the 890 jump too. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to buy that separately. I get a nice discount if I get them all together, right? And the main reason I bought with real money, and I always preach this a lot, is that you don't need to buy ships with real money. You can earn them in the game. But the reason I bought these particular ships, to answer your question, Griff, with real money, was because I want to sort of let CIG know there's a definite audience for this style in the game, because there's nothing else quite like it. And I wanted to encourage them to continue, making ships that really feel 30th century futuristic.
Okay, so that's kind of like your vote of affirmation to them, like, "Hey, I'm digging this." That's
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Okay, all right. Especially if you bought the Origin package. I thought about it, Jade. I really did, but I got to jumble too much stuff around to do it. So
No, I understand.
I bought
You'd
deep.
already,
I bought too deep
yeah.
already. Yeah,
They already got them.
Yeah. DK, go ahead. You let Jade go first. What's your thoughts? On
Yeah,
this?
it's kind of the same way, Jade. It's like for me, the 315 or the 300 series was the first ship that I saw when I looked at Star Citizen, and it was right after the rework had been done. And I saw it, I'm like, ooh, now that is a ship that I want. Mm-hmm. And so I pledged, and then I looked at every other Origin ship and said, for me, it is not just supporting the game and supporting the development at the same time, but like you said, Jade, it's like showing that these ships have are meaningful to us, and it's not, I'll, like I said, I'll earn the 85X in game, or buy the M50 in game. 85X might just slip out of my pocket during IAE, I don't know. But the M50, some of those ships I'll purchase in game, but I may end up just melting everything, get the Origin pack. I don't know, because the only other ships I have is Crusader, and that's it. Origin and Crusader. But there's just, I wanted those ships, and it's not like it didn't want to earn them in game. It's part of supporting the project, but I wanted to have a collection. It's like having a collection of I don't know, games or whatever collections you might have. This is my collection, and yeah, they might be digital collections, but it's a collection. People collect paint, people collect paintings or art and this and that. This is my collection, and I just had to have. I want all of them. Catch them all.
And the reason why I asked that is because this particular line of ships and what they represent as far as careers go is probably one of the furthest away. Beyond logging boxes and things like that, the luxury or transport aspects of the game aren't there. So it'd be different if those mechanics were in the game and you said, "Ooh, I'm getting these ships because I can go do this right now." But you bought these knowing that what they're supposed to really do completely isn't even in the game yet. But you're willing to say, "I'm willing to drop money on these," real world money, which is interesting. I was just kind of curious if there was some, some little line of something we could tie together as to why with this particular line of ships, including myself, because you guys have heard my 600 story, which I'm about to tell again for the 8th time when we get to 600. That's the why I bought a 600 ship. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into that next, because by the way,
I'm an explorer, like at heart, and these all speak to that exploration in Star Trek feel.
Absolutely.
That's a big part of it too. Exploration, that was the thing.
Yeah.
And Origin spoke exploration. Yeah. Absolutely, Jade.
Yeah. Yes, Cyberwolf, I agree with you 100%. I wasn't that crazy about this design at first, but it has grown on me. It actually has. I'm starting to see what they saw when they put this thing together. I was wrestling with it in the beginning. Okay.
Such a gorgeous ship.
Have everyone noticed a trend here that Griffin is like, oh, this ship didn't appeal to me at first, but it's growing on me. It's like that for almost quite a few of these ships. Anything that hasn't going on, I'm messing with you.
I was going to say, that's the only ship I said that about. What other ship did I say that about?
85X.
I didn't say that. No, I said a little bit. No. The 85X. No, the 85X. Because the reason why with the 85X is because I saw that original concept drawing, and it was so different from the one that they put out for the 890 jump. And I was like, I kind of like the other drawing, but then I started liking it. But this thing here, I didn't like this at all. When they did the concept drawing for it, I was like, oh, I hope that's not it. Then when it came out, I was like, ugh. It didn't change very much. But then the more I rode in it and the more I flew it, then it was kind of like, okay. And like I just said a second ago, I started to see what they saw. I didn't see what they saw in the design. I just didn't at first. It was just a weird freaking design. I'm like, man, because maybe what I think it was, fastcart too. I had gotten used to how the design evolved to the 890 jump. And I was looking for the 400 to reflect that in some way,
language.
And it didn't reflect it at all. And it just really, that pelican weird look it had and stuff, and the landing gear. And I was like, But after a while, now when that thing's flying and the gear are up, man, it looks cool. I like
I
it
think
now.
that's probably why a lot of people love it,
Mhm.
but hate it at the same time.
Mhm.
Because it looks so good and it's grown on them and
Yeah.
they want to fly it. They really want to,
Mhm.
but because it doesn't fit a rock, they can't, so
Oh, we were gonna get through the show without
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Please don't bring that back up again. Such blasphemy. Such blasphemy. Okay. DK, this one's yours. It happened to be coincidence that landed on you because I know this is your favorite. So why don't you go ahead and read up on this one for us, okay?
Oh, yes. Here we go. The Origin 600i Expedition. This multi-role luxury vessel from Origin Jumpworks features an exquisitely detailed hull design that balances performance and versatility in a sleek and timeless form. The 600i is designed with a cutting-edge modular technology allowing you to customize your ship for your needs. Looking to stamp your name in history with the discovery of a new star system, the 600i's Explorer module swaps the lounge for a robust scanning station, as well as additional utility hardpoints to increase the ship's effectiveness even more. The Touring, let the voyage begin with the 2947 600i from Origin Jumpworks. This multi-role luxury vessel from Origin Jumpworks features an exquisitely designed hull. Again, we're going on that balances performance and versatility in sleek and timeless form. The 600i is designed with a cutting modular. I think we're reading the same thing. Let me skip to the last part. Allowing you to customize your ship for taking your family on a long-distance trip across the stars. The Touring module lets your guests relax and ease with stunning furniture from some of the Empire's top designers.
Okay, let's take this to fastcart first on this one for the 600i series. Either one, fastcart, the Expedition, or the Touring.
I got the expedition, the exploration one.
Okay.
So yeah, that I'm probably going to keep it. I'm looking forward to the rework to see if it or not it's really spacey, or some people say too spacey. I'm the same opinion. So hoping they'll utilize the space better while keeping the look at and similar. But yeah, it's really clean, and that's the one thing that it's too clean for me. I feel like I have to wipe my feet off before I take too many steps inside of it.
You better put on some slippers.
Which most common people should do when they come on our ships, by the way.
That's right. Yeah. I'll give you slippers. You gotta get to put those on.
Exactly.
No, I'm gonna have to wipe my wheels down when I take my cart on. But yeah, it's a useful ship, I think, and it's one of the few ships that it's one of the biggest ships that you can solo, and still get away with it, even for a ship of its size.
Okay. Jade, how about you?
Oh, wow. I'm one of the few people, I think, that did not look at the interior of the 600i and go, oh, this is a waste of space, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking eventually we'll be able to decorate our ships, right? That space isn't wasted. I liked the idea that there was freedom for the future of being able to outfit it how we want it. So I'm really, but I'm really looking forward to what the rework is going to be. And I do think we're still going to have, a lot of freedom eventually to customize the interior. But yeah, like I loved it from the very beginning. And that song, again, if you ever hear these commercials, if you've never seen them, definitely look them up on YouTube. And that song, I mean, it was unlike any other CIG ship commercial at that time. And it just, the whole way this was presented, it was phenomenal. And I couldn't take my eyes off. I watched it like 3 times. Like, do you really need this? Yes, of course you do. And then, much more to its usefulness. During Zenith Threat, DK,
oh my gosh,
absolute killer. He took down so many Zenith threats in his 600i. Like, I just marvel at the firepower this thing has in the hands of a pilot, a well-skilled pilot. Like DK is with the 600. Certain pilots, they're one with their ship. They're like almost Jedi, like, and that's how DK is with his 600i. So yeah.
Theorem said, okay, stop saying luxury. He just stumbled back to his computer. Getting another drink.
What can I say? It's luxurious.
Luxury is Theorem's gonna be sick.
Oh my God, DK, really?
Yeah. DK, gives your thoughts on
the 600i is a veritable beast. With that ship, it was the second ship that I got after the 315p. So it was the first ship that I actually bought. And it was, let me just say, I almost put money on the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And I rented the Phoenix, and then I rented the 600i in game. Mm-hmm. And I've got the I'm a Han Solo flying around in a smuggling Phoenix, but it's a luxury smuggling Phoenix. But then I got the 600, and I'm like, and my wallet fell on the floor. Mm-hmm. And so it was like one of those insta buys. But I didn't know what it was capable of when it comes to, like, say, flying it around in combat until I started doing bounty hunter missions. And I found somebody online that had put the size 5 fixed weapons in an in an X or the FR-86 shield on there, and you're going to be all good. And I'm like, really? I was melting ships left and right after that, literally melting them. But this ship speaks volumes of what I look for, say, if I'm thinking about Star Trek. This is my Enterprise. And, this is, I know people always talk about the Carrack and this like that. After the rework, I'm going to say it right now, Carrack killer.
Yes.
Come on, come at me.
Oh my God.
Come at
Really,
me.
DK? Really?
Seriously. Carrack killer. I don't care if the Carrack has a snub fighter. I don't care if it has, the Hager Bay. I don't care if it has drones. I don't care if whatever. It is a Carrack killer for the Origin brand. And I think that this ship is going to be widely popular once that rework is done, and you better believe that cost is going way up. So I'm glad 350. Thank you, because it's gonna be like 700 by the time that rework comes out. So I don't, it's just, but it's such a great ship. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I remember when I first flew that ship around. And there were some new players in the game. I had met some guy on an outpost. I was flying my 315 doing smuggling missions and met some guy on an outpost. And he and his friends wanted to go hang out or whatnot. So I went and got my 600 and took them around. They're like, wow. I'm like, yeah. Best view in the game.
That's funny.
I'm telling you.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah,
before Griffin, regardless of what is 600i story for the 8th time, I just want to say that this is one of the free ships that I own that's actually nameable, and I'm going to put in the chat what that name is. But my blank ship, because I don't want people to drink, is the Merchantman. That's the last time I'll say Merchantman for the night.
That's funny. Interestingly enough about this ship, I want to do a little bit of history on it. But I will tell my story one more time for those of you who haven't heard it. If you have heard it, get another drink. Here's the deal. Jade, just like you, I was at VerseCon in Austin. The CitizenCon was over across the pond that year, and the commercial came on. Halfway through CitizenCon, they dropped this commercial, the one we're looking at right now. Being, like you said, a musician, playing violin, that opening just killed me right off in the beginning because it was, like you said, so different. But even more, watching the layout, this is one of those ones where the commercial sold me. It really did, just because of what they were saying. The crazy part about it is that every other ship I've bought, I've always paid attention to, looked at the Q&A, looked at the stats, all that stuff. When this thing came out, I didn't care what it does. It could have been a flying toilet bowl. I just wanted to buy it because it looked good. And I bought it because of that. We didn't see any interiors in this commercial. We knew nothing about it. When the ship came out, they put out the brochure. Let me go through some of the history real quick for those of you who remember. This ship originally was supposed to be modular. It was supposed to be where you could choose a module. Either you could have the exploration module or the luxury module. And they decided later on to go ahead and put out a touring version as well as an exploration version of the ship. there were some things about the ship that I liked, things I didn't like. The things I did like, Jay, to your point, the spaciousness of the ship was fine. It's like I grew up in a house where I always had like 2,500 square feet and more in every house I've lived in. And I always remember when I was looking for a new house and I went to the real estate agent and they said, "Oh, how big do you want your house to be?" I said, "Well, I don't know, maybe 2,500, 3,000 square feet." And they looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what? You know, because to them, the average space was like 1,800 square feet. And so I'm used to space. So when I went in here, don't get me wrong, it's not the other ships were crammed in with stuff, but it didn't bother me that certain things were distanced out. Now, what did bother me, which CIG is addressing, is where things were. That's the same problem I have in the Phoenix. For example, on the exploration ship, the science stations are almost 50%, you know, past the halfway point of the ship in the back and far removed from the command section of the ship. I don't know. At first, I thought it was kind of cool, but because that middle section isn't developed out well enough for science to mean exploration, it didn't justify those 2 seats being back there in the back. The globe is also back there, whether it's going to be cartography or scanning. Again, it's all separated from the cockpit. And I'm like, wow, I might have to get on comms to talk to whoever's in the cockpit. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, but I still liked it. Now, as many of you all know, some of the things that they are doing in the rework for this ship, they're adding a med bay. We know at least to the exploration version. I don't know if it'll be in the luxury one. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't do it, but we do know they're adding a tier 2 med bay to this ship. They're adding a docking collar, which is something that the ship definitely needs. So this ship will be able to have a docking collar, and we saw that reflected. I think you mentioned it, fastcart, or one of you, in the 400i, where they placed a docking collar on that ship. They're also moving the science exploration section on the ship to the rear of the ship and moving the accommodation social area to the middle of the ship. I'm curious to see how that's going to be on the touring version, because the touring version is all like luxury and habitation. So whether they do the same thing on that ship, it'll be interesting to see. One of the things that's interesting about this ship too, if you guys ever like fully load the ship up with cargo, the cargo in this ship goes into multiple locations on the ship.
Yeah.
It goes both into the cargo bay as well as the component rooms. And if you didn't know that, when you're looking around, it even goes on the walls, right, DK? It's like lined up along the walls. Very different layout on how they manage cargo to maintain the feeling of space in the ship. You don't feel like the ship is crowded when you load things into it. The ship has a great armory in it, weapons area in it. Those of you all who've been on this ship before know that there's a bar, there's a holographic table, there's a TV monitor, there's a pool table, there's a full-size kitchen. There's a lot of stuff on this ship, let alone, as you mentioned, DK, about it being very good and capable as a fighter. Now, how long that maintains, we'll see. I will say this. The only thing I wish they had done on this ship that irritates the stew out of me, those guns should be retractable.
Oh, good Lord, yes.
That is the only thing that breaks the defining, the aesthetic line of the ship. CIG, make those guns go into the ship, and it will be gorgeous.
Some way.
Because it'd be that ship that you wouldn't expect. But man, when those size 5s roll out of there, you're like, oh my God, because there's 3
Turn around, you better run.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many ships in the universe currently have retractable guns?
The 890 does. The 890 does have retractable. It's got missile turrets and everything. That's what I'm saying. When you get that level of coolness, you shouldn't have these big size 5s hanging out of the side of that ship. That thing should be glossy, smooth all the way around. And then that sucker would be totally the bomb.
I want to bring something up. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to. Sorry. Go ahead, Jade.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, since we're making requests of CIG with the 600i, I'd like to add that, you know, one of the only things that I sort of was a little jealous about the Constellation Phoenix was the ability to look out the sides.
Oh,
and I know that you really can't do that with the 600i, but you could do an external viewport, like you know, use technology like they do with like having it like augmented reality sort of, where you're looking through a screen that is looking through a camera. And it would be one of the very unique ships in the game where you could do that. You could have your luxurious view out the side, even though there's no apparent windows.
Thank you for mentioning that, Jay, because that is on my list of things. each one of those bedrooms for that level of luxury should have its own viewport. To be
Absolutely.
able to see outside. Now, I don't care, like you said, if it's nothing more than an electronic view screen that lets me see outside. But in that touring edition, I love the fact that they have that glass bottom floor in it, which is very cool. But we also need to be able to, because you're right, when you're in the Phoenix, when you can sit there and look out the sides, when you're taking off out of a hangar or landing and you can see outside, the 890 is the same way. The 600, that's the one thing about it. Put that thin black line along the side of it, y'all. That's a one-way glass. And by the way, change that master bedroom to a one-way glass. People don't need to be looking at your bedroom when you pull in the port.
Exactly. Nobody needs to see what you're doing.
What you're doing when you land.
That sucker needs to be black, just like it is in the back.
That's
It
right.
needs to be black in the front when you come in.
You have a checklist available? Because that's a lot of stuff you want to.
I'm sure we do have checklists. Yeah, we all have checklists.
Yeah, that
But you know
one-way
what?
glass is
We should have a control so that if we want, people can look inside, but we can.
or change it. Hit the switch.
Yeah, that's
change it.
luxurious.
Make it opaque.
Yep, go
Yeah,
back
give
and
us-
keep it
give us
clear.
the
Okay,
option.
I'll buy that for $1. I'll buy that for $1.
But the only thing I was going to throw in there is that, who was it that said that? Danger Hobo, you said it hits like a truck. Drives like a moon, hits like a truck. This is where I bring the Mercedes comparison in, because Mercedes makes trucks just as much as they make luxury cars. And so I put the 600i in a very interesting category. Not only is it an S-Class Mercedes, but it's also a sprinter that could be used not only for cargo and running around, but it can also be a limousine. And then you've got the G-Wagon, very luxurious, but very powerful and very capable of what it can do. So that's what I see the 600i as.
Yeah.
It's a very capable ship in many different roles, but it's luxurious as hell.
Yeah.
And that's the way I see that Origin is. Reliable, well built, can stand the test of time and always looks good. And it's just has everything with the 600. It is the definition of Origin for me.
Yeah.
For me.
We talked about the. Go ahead, fastcart.
A quick couple of things first. The touring is $435. The exploration is $475 US. I think they were cheaper. Well, obviously they were cheaper.
They were
when the concept came up. I got my Explorer for $270 because I played the CCU game, so that's one of the reasons why I'm probably going to keep it. But y'all are going to give people liver problems after night the way you keep throwing an L word around. That's all.
Luxury.
I'm about to go there. I'm about to go there again real quick. I'm going to go there real quickly because we have been looking at it from the science exploration side, but we haven't talked about the luxury. The other thing I want to talk about in the rework is that they said they've redone the crew cabin area. Many of you all know the crew cabin area was a big open area with 4 beds. Now they said all the crew members will have their own individual cabins, which I think will be very nice and a better management of space in the ship. In some of the images we're seeing here, this is the touring version. And that's the other thing too, DK, because I know you're really big on going with the Starliner and being able to later on use that for like larger transport. But are you seeing this as being like your VIP thing also going with that? Are you thinking about that for transport missions, doing VIP using the 600?
The exploration version. I don't have any thought of getting the touring.
Would you go with the
now
touring?
maybe, but for me, I think it's going to be more of the VIP version of the Genesis Starliner.
Okay.
That I'm going to outfit my Genesis Starliner to be, a luxury first class, business class, experience.
Okay.
And then my Explorer is going to be I'm out of here. I'm gonna go have some fun.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Very cool.
And I don't have the touring anymore because after talking with DK, we did a show on different occupations, and I ended up basically just having the Genesis Starliner rather than the touring in my pack.
Yeah. I see the reason why I asked is because to me the touring version is much more along the lines of it falls into the category of a little bit like the Phoenix, right? Where it's a little bit more of a corporate transport, VIP. We just have 1 or 2 people and that's it. Nothing extravagant, nothing big. I was just kind of curious whether or not you add this to your fleet, as some things that you didn't have to take out a bigger ship. if you decided. But then again, like I said, there's other ships like the Phoenix that you'll be doing, and we're going to talk about possible other future ships too before we close this show out. So let's get to that next one.
Subscription.
Whoops, I hit him by accident.
I forgot to say that with the rework, the price will probably increase again. So
it will.
If you're all interested in 600i and you want to support CIG, you might want to get it sooner rather than later.
I'm telling you, if you want it, get it this IAE because this will probably be the last time it's going to be offered at the price that it's coming.
Oh my gosh, you guys with the FOMO.
Seriously. This is it. This is it.
Or play the CCU game like I do.
Yeah.
Or play the CCU game.
Last but not least.
Or get it in game.
Yep. Last but not least, the granddaddy or grandpappy or grandmammy of them all, the Origin 890 Jump. With an elegant, sleek exterior that belies its spacious interior, the 890 Jump is a true engineered marvel crafted to impress from every angle by combining a unique, innovative design with the finest materials and the most advanced technology. The result is a vessel that is in a class all into its own, a masterpiece worthy of the name Origin. I'm gonna give a little bit of history on this one, then I'll go around the room and I'll give my closing thoughts on this. You know, this is another ship that drastically was changed. We had early concept drawings of this ship, but the ship definitely took on an entirely different look from the original concept drawings, and some of you will remember them. We showed the 85X earlier, and you saw how dramatically different that was. This ship was the same. This ship also grew in size, which was another factor. It was much smaller than what it is now, but the ship now is one of the larger ships. It also falls into the category from, and correct me if I'm wrong, CIG does put this in capital class because it does use capital components, even though we don't have them in the game right now. That's another interesting thing about this ship. Let me go to DK first, then fastcart, then Jade, and then I'll wrap it up. DK 890 Jump, any thoughts on it?
The 890 Jump is an absolutely gorgeous super yacht. And it's one of those super yachts that I had the pleasure of piloting and enjoying the comforts of, but I don't want to own it. And there are many reasons why. First and foremost is the price of moving it. Just to get that thing to go anywhere is going to cost you hundreds of thousands of AUEC right now. Maybe less once things kind of even out with, say, Quanta or something, but even then I have a feeling it's going to be even more. But it's definitely, you see those super yachts sitting out at Monaco watching the car races and things like that. That's what I see the 890 Jump as, a super or mega yacht that I want to go on and have a good time. Like your ship, Griff, I'm gonna go on there and have some parties. I'll put my suit on and come in there with the nice shoes and sip some champagne and everything else, and then I'll get back in my 600i and take off. But it's definitely it's not acquired taste. That's not what I want to say. It is, if you want that ship and you want to play around, you want to fly that ship around, you're going to need a good crew, because 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to be the one flying it. It's going to be somebody else. And I would be okay flying the ship for you as a pilot, but actually owning the ship might be a different story. But don't get me wrong, that is one absolutely gorgeous ship, and I love going on it. Anytime I get a chance to free fly, whatever that shit, or like IAE or Invictus and whatnot, as soon as that ship is out, you better believe I rent one and I go out and have a good old time and just sit in space and walk around. Just find a place, quantum out, somewhere in between some planets, and just walk around and enjoy some time just staring at how awesome that ship is.
Okay. FC?
Yeah, this is too much for me. Too big. I'm good with the 600. This is a size too bigger than that. Like I said, it's capital class. This is $950. I think CIG missed the mark. They should have made it at $890. But yeah, that's on them. I'm not sure I'll be invited on Griffin 890 Jump unless I'm hired as help. But we shall see.
You're always welcome.
Thank you. Other than that, during the Murray Cup, Dr. Murray invited some of us to go on his to watch the race. So that was my that's the time when I spent extensive time on the 890, and it is pretty nice. I think we had quite a few people on there, so it didn't seem spacious. It seemed just right compared to like a 600. But yeah, I can see why people like it.
Okay. Jade, let me get your feedback a little bit, both on your thoughts about the ship, but also you and I have been to the music, the commercial.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do you want me to comment on the music of the commercial?
Yeah, the commercial. Yeah.
Again,
you talked about the presentation. What do you think about the presentation?
So what we found with CIG with Origin is they've really leaned into like classical music to set Origin apart. And in this case, we have an opera singer on the ship, right? The whole run up to that though, there was dance music, like electronic dance music. Like it starts out saying that it's 2949 and area 18 is changing, and that spoke to me because it brought back memories of like being in Second Life and going to parties and clubs, and I thought this is like a flying nightclub that's also a super yacht that's got a restaurant and a bar. And I had owned an 890 as part of that Origin pack well before I saw this commercial. But it was everything that I had imagined when I read the brochure. I don't know if many of you've seen the old brochure for it, but it's a different design. But a lot of the ideas that I had for it that weren't necessarily in that brochure were expressed in this commercial, especially that scene where you see everybody dancing in the grand atrium. And the music aspect definitely, I loved it, and I love the fact that they've leaned heavily into this being a ship for a social game. Star Citizen is a social game. Chris Roberts sees it as that. It's space Second Life in a way, and this is the ship that epitomizes it.
Yeah. Hey, did that opera scene give you Fifth Element vibes?
Yes.
Lost in Paradise.
Exactly. That's what I mean by this. Brings together all the different space universes that are out there in film and TV.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the thing, Jade, you hit on it was with this commercial was possibilities, right? Of all the things that could be done. This is not something that you see for a game, a social dynamic, that's going on. Even though what's nice about this is that CIG is smart enough to put this little combat scene in here just because, the game that we're in, we realize that that's a factor. And, people will say, oh, as soon as I see an 890 jump, I'm going to blow it up. Well, keep trying, Good
luck.
Right.
Keep trying. Because if you notice, there's like 4 or 5, 6 ships out here trying to take this thing out. It's not like you're going to roll up with your one ship and take one out. I can tell you that from experience. But the thing that I do see is that this is our first beginnings of what CIG talks about. There will be some players who will just dig doing this. They'll dig hanging out with their friends. They will dig going out and seeing different parts of the universe. Has nothing to do with moving boxes. It has nothing to do with going after a mercenary or bounty hunting. Has nothing to do with an org war, but that the space is big enough to allow people to even have these type of experiences in the game. And that draws me in. That's the thing for me. I enjoy the other aspects, those other genres. But for those days when I just want to get in the ship and go hang out, or someone tells me about a system that they saw or some moon or planet, and I just want to go out with some friends and go see it. And yeah, there's some risk going out there, but that'll be part of it too. But to have fun doing it. I'm glad you called this a super yacht, DK, because originally it was called a yacht. And really, I think a lot of people have kind of started realizing that the 600 is more of a yacht.
The 600 is a yacht, right?
And this is
it's a personal yacht. Yeah, exactly.
A super yacht is when it's cost just stupid money to operate. I mean, just ridiculous amounts of money. You may find it in a port where it's sitting, and that's what it's doing. It's in a port. And when it goes out, it costs money to fire it up. and it takes money to refill it back up afterward.
Cool. Yes, it does.
You guys have heard me joke around about my luxury account. There's that word again.
Luxury theorem.
Where I tell you that my main account funds the luxury account. And there's a reason why, because I'm not so sure of how much money I can make on luxury ships. So I have my main ships, and I use that good old trade meter thing, and I send money over there so that whenever I want to take my ships out, there's no question about it. There's millions there for me to be able to refuel, restock, rearm, or whatever it is I want to do. But I do like the 890. Now, there have been, CIG has talked about how as each one of these ships they've made, they've learned more and more in their design and layout. And even the 890 jump has some areas in it that I think could be done a little bit differently. But I also think it is the closest to design. The 400i is in the sense of functionality, but as far as layout and design, there's not much about the ship I would change. Look at all the different things that they have here. Bartenders. There's a full kitchen staff working on here. People who are serving drinks, people who are serving food, people who are enjoying the food, people who are piloting the ship, multiple areas. But you're not limited. You don't have to have all those things on the ship to go out and enjoy it. But if you do want to have all those things, and you got people who want to role play, I've got people who tell me, dig that says one of the main things he wants to do is go work in the kitchen.
Be a cook.
That's his big thing. And some people don't understand that there are people who actually want, if you're paying them, they're like, dude, if they make that kitchen active where I can cook, or if that med bay is active where I can help people, there are people who want to do that in space. They want to do that in space, you know.
That's why I said, I'll be your pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the few ships that people that own it don't want to fly it.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One thing I would add is I think that this ship needs more poles. I won't say what kind of poles because I don't want to get people in trouble, but it definitely need more poles. And I think, I mean, on a more serious note, instead of have people using the hangars, I can see people like never entering the hangars because they have a ship like this. They'll just hang out inside the 890 day in, day out. Yeah. And the same for the 600, same for the 400, what have you. So yeah, I definitely see people not partaking in the hangars if they have a ship like that.
You know, that was a profession in Second Life, fastcart. I'm thinking if Joe Run were here right now, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, absolutely, of course."
Yeah,
there's going to be super
yeah. Let me say this to you guys, and we're going to do our last bit on this particular thing with Origin. You have not flown until you've docked one of these suckers at a station.
Oh, good Lord. That's so much fun. Isn't it?
Let me tell you, if you've never docked one of these or pulled out of the station, you don't know what you're missing. You don't know what you're missing. Okay?
It's amazing.
Even just the walk up to the ship through the
right?
Yeah.
It just feels sci-fi.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, real quick. I'm going to talk to you a little theory crafting here, and I'm going to go to DK, Fastcart, and Jade. You know, someone mentioned this earlier in the chat. I forgot who it was. He talked about the fact that one of the things about Origin they don't like is the fact that they've got this numerical thing of doing their ships, which I get, right? It's the thing. But there are some slots here. In lore, there was a ship called the 200. But there's still space for some other numbers. A 500, a 700. And my question to you, DK and Jade and even Fastcart, is... Aaron.
Hey,
Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate that sub.
Hey, thanks.
Here's my question to you all. What type of, if there's anything else that you want to see Origin produce, what would it be? Just one thing. You only get to pick one because of our time. But if there's something else that could fit that 500 slot or a 700, somebody actually has a video out there of an Origin 555, which is actually really kind of cool if you guys haven't taken a look at it. I don't know, Admiral, if you can find that. It's Origin 555 is the concept, and it's like a transport ship. If you can find it and drop that in the chat, please do. Or Ops Chief is here too. See if you guys can find. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's the Origin 777. My apologies.
That's what it was. Okay.
It's the 777.
They were going at the 777.
I think it's the 777. It's either the 555 or 777, but I think it's 777. DK, let me start with you first. No, I'll start with Jade this time. Jade, any thoughts about anything you'd like to see Origin produce?
Well, you know, to keep with the rule of only being able to pick one thing, I'm going to just reiterate sort of what I said previously, is that I'd either like a 200 series to be a Origin answer to the Anvil Pisces, or even more than that, an Origin answer to the Crusader shuttle. I feel that the 890 needs a ship that could bring like a fair amount of people in one go.
Yep.
That's, you know, nobody's coming on my 890 with an Argo, you know, transport, right? Nobody wants to be squeezed in like that. But something that's like the Crusader shuttle, when you get in there, it's got this spacious view.
Yeah, 8 to 10 people,
there's all these seats.
Like
yeah. I think a 200, I don't know, or 250 or something series that would just be specifically for that as a entry level passenger transport ship that you could work your way up maybe to a Genesis Starliner by starting out with that. That would serve its role in game other than to just service an 890.
Yeah. Admiral, thank you. You guys see that link there, the Origin 77i. When you get a chance, take a look at it. If you like the guy's video, definitely give him a shot. It's interesting. I think it's an interesting concept of something that Eddie says would be kind of cool to put out there. Thank you, Jade. FC, what about you?
I hope they really make the Origin 404. I love that ship. I think it'll be a great addition to the game. The Origin 404, perfect. No, how about an Origin in industry ship? Like I don't want to say mining or cargo or something like that. Just an industry ship. Like there are quite a few. I don't want to say, let's say elegant manufacturers who make like trucks, like these
Mercedes.
So, yeah, so I think that would be interesting. And to see the game.
Okay, DK, how about you?
Well, I'm glad you brought up that 777 because the 777 is one of my favorite aircraft in real life. And I think if Origin could come out with something that is a competitor to the Genesis Starliner in terms of large passenger service, as opposed to, you know, not like a touring 600i, not like the 890 jump, but but more of a passenger liner that has maybe different amenities than the Genesis Starliner, or maybe has a little bit more of a luxury feel to it. I think that would be a really nice slot that could fit in between the 600i and the 890 jump. And that 777i is or 777. I think that would be a really cool addition if they did something like that. I think there's a lot more room between the 890 and the 600 than there is between, say, these 400 and 600 or the 300 and 400. There's there's
300
or 100 and 300. Thank you. I think there's Jade, you did mention that Pisces type competitor that kind of fits in between the 100 and 300 200i or 200 series, but I think that 700 series, I think that would be a really prime place for a passenger liner, unlike the the specific private type of the 890 and 600.
Okay,
I'd just like to mention something that is commenting on what is being talked about in the chat. The 600 series in lore has a military variant.
Yep, and a cargo variant.
And a cargo variant. And so there's definitely room, if CIG wanted to, for them to introduce those.
Yeah. That's why I said the 600 is like a Sprinter van. It's a Mercedes Sprinter van. You use it both as cargo and limousines. I mean, it's very versatile, and I think the 600 definitely fits there.
Okay. I'm going to go with, by the way, take a look at that 77i video, guys. I'm telling you, because what DK described is the direction that person went in their concept for a ship.
I love it.
And Jade, I like what you suggested too, because that Tinder type ship, that gets a group of people.
Yeah.
Because right now they give you the freaking 85X, but that's only 2 people, and one of them is your pilot, right? But if you want to move guests back and forth, we need that Tinder size ship that's 8 to 12 people that you can move at one time. I'm gonna go with something that sounds more like upper end corporate jet, bigger than the 300, smaller than the 600. So I'm going to go for a 500. And what this ship does is it is the competitor to the Phoenix. So I want something that's designed for 4 to 5 people that lands in that slot. 4 to 5 people, competitor to the Phoenix. I almost went your way, DK, and started to say the competitor to the Starliner, but I'm looking for that one that slots in there, because the 300, as you know, is just for you. I mean, you could take somebody with you, but it's mainly a one-person ship. The 600 series, just crew alone is 5 people, 6 people in that sucker. Then you've got guests on the touring. You've got like 4 bedrooms or 5 bedrooms. That thing holds like 10, 12 people on it. You know, I want something between that 1 person and that 12 person, lands in there with maybe 4 to 5 people that you can move back and forth in it, which should be a competitor to the Phoenix. Okay.
How many people can the 400 take?
It's 3.
It's 3 as far as crew goes, but I'm talking about more from the example of the touring side of it. You know what I mean? Not because of no work. You know, if you got it's one of the rules about snobs is snobs don't do no work. So
Yeah.
The 400 is definitely a personal live aboard, you know, motor yacht. You know, it's one of those you find in Marina City in LA, you know, that everybody lives aboard their small yacht.
Now, you know,
that's kind of where the 400 fits.
I'd take a 400 in a touring. If they made a touring version,
if they made a touring at that,
I'd even buy that for $1 because that would fit. That would fit the niche I'm talking about.
Put the hot tub in that they took out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they could pick out the cartography.
That's what I'm saying.
Put a little lounge there.
That would work for me. Let's real quick get these. We got 2 questions here. The first one is, do you think that Origin will ever jump into the working fields like mining? That's Pops in space. Pops, if I could give you a 30K, I would. We ain't even having that conversation, okay?
No.
Origin they may surprise you. They just might. I mean, maybe not mining specifically, but they might.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. It's a good question, Pops. And then also from Admiral Kusanagi, do you think the CIG will incorporate Origin as a luxury home manufacturer, like for homesteads and outposts?
Maybe.
I could see them.
Idea.
Partnering.
Idea.
There's a company called Abernathy Interiors in Lore. So they handle the interior, but maybe Origin builds the exterior.
That'd be
you know,
That'd be
I mean, I don't have any issue with that per se, but it's like I said, you could just land your ship and use that as your luxury home. So.
Home right there. Huh? Okay, fair enough. All right, well, listen, we are going to wrap up this show. We are over today. We thought we were going to be short, but we're
You thought it was going to be short,
right?
right?
I think it was going to be short. Yeah,
I was going to say, a few of us, it might be short, but definitely with all of us, it would not be short.
Fans, I should have known in fastcart that would do it. Listen, we want to tell you guys, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Don't forget, we have merchandise. If you guys are interested, check out our merch. We got our links there for you guys. They're on the page for Twitch. Also, they're there in YouTube. Thank you guys for the support that you guys have given us with the merchandise that you purchased. We really do appreciate that. We also appreciate the time that you guys have spent with us today, listening to us rattle on about our, except for fastcart's, favorite manufacturer, which is Origin.
And I hope everyone enjoyed the drinking game.
Yeah,
I hope people had fun.
Sober.
Luxury.
Make sure you drink water so you don't get hungover.
Yeah, hopefully you're still sober. FC, tell them about Thursday, please.
Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. No, it's 9 p.m. You got the wrong time. 9 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC. We have Show Talk, where we talk about what's going on in Star Citizen communities. Normally, we cover Star Citizen Live, Inside Star Citizen, and Sneak Peek and what have you. And we also have Government Cinema, so it's a fun show. It's a talk show where people can come in and talk with us. So we click on the link below and join us give us your thoughts about what's going on in the Star Citizen community and it's a fun show.
Okay. DK, I'll give you Soul Voices this time.
Yes, Soul Voices. That is a show that we do on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. That we invite you one-on-one to have a conversation on things that are happening in our community. So we may pick topics that come from Spectrum or Reddit or wherever they may come from, and discuss those with our community. So if you want to come in and have a chat with any one of us that might be on that show, like a one-on-one, it's a great place to be. So come join Soul Voices. Sometimes you might even have special guests that come on there and might give you a hard time.
Yeah. Jade, I would throw this at you, but because I haven't told you what the show is about, plus I don't want you being harassed because of the title of this show, I'm going to read it. Okay. So next Sunday, same time that we're here today, we're going to be doing escort service. This is going to be on the ships that CIG has presented for us that are used for escorting other ships for support. You can call them anytime, 24/7, 800 Soul Citizens, if you guys want to learn about what it means to be a part of providing an escort service in Star Citizen. That's going to be our show for next week. So hopefully you guys can join us for
And make sure you dial directly from your Moby Glass.
Yes, from your Moby Glass. There you go. There you go, FC. Good choice of words. Okay, well, listen, I want to thank Dark Knight, Fastcart, Jade for being here tonight. Thank you for all the stuff you guys shared with everybody. Everybody who was in chat tonight, thank you guys for all the great fun that you had as well.
Yes, yes.
Hopefully you enjoyed our snobbery and our fun with luxury. Everybody say luxury one more time for everybody.
Luxury! That's four.
For the night. That's 4 drinks you gotta have tonight. All right. And hopefully you guys really had a good time with us tonight. We are going to be rating. Who are we rating? Blue Spark, Admiral Kusanagi? Is that who you're telling me to rate?
Spark Gaming, yeah.
Blue Spark Gaming. So those of you who are in Twitch, when you get over there to Blue Spark Gaming, we want you to give a shout out. How come that didn't copy? That's crazy. Give me 1 second here. We want you to give a shout out when you get over there. Let Blue Spark Gaming know that you came over from Soul Citizens. And if you like what you see, be sure to follow. And thank you guys for doing that. Those of you on YouTube, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you as well. We know you guys have been out there seeing you in chat. Until next week, hopefully we'll see you guys then. Don't forget, we've got we're going to be doing our, what is it, Fastcart? Our
Citizen Watch.
Here we're going to be doing our own watch for the first time. So if you guys want to join us in our Discord and hang out with us on that day, you guys will be more than welcome.
And the week after, we're having a virtual bar citizen.
Virtual bar citizen
That's right.
coming up as well. I don't think we have time to throw that in the chat, but if Admiral, if you can grab it and throw it in there for folks. Don't forget, you got to register for that virtual bar citizen. We have a great time with that. Hopefully you guys can join us for that.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss those. You get a lot of really good information.
Especially this one, because this is post Citizen Con, and quite often CIG folks join us, so you definitely want to try to hang out with us if you can, okay?
Yep.
All right, Admiral, I was saying put in the virtual Citizen Con link if you can for folks, if you can drop it in there. All right, gang, we're going to run as always. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys later. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, peace, love, and soul. Ciao.